Is it truly as he says? I am not so weak as to be like the others. No, that's not my place. I'm greater than Hitoshi. So why does he insist on getting in my way? Especially with someone I've found who's not insufferable like the rest. I'm simply better than most. Why can't he understand that? It's not worth the trouble. I'll win their heart either way. I won't let some inconceivable ingrate stop me from reaching my goals. Yes, because I'm Neito Monoma. And I will always be the best. So it's nothing for me to steal their heart. Right? No, of course. That's what I need to do. Now, what shall we... I should practice, shouldn't I? Well, I was thinking, since you're such an admirer of me, you could perhaps accompany me while I go and eat a meal. It would be a shame to waste it on just myself. I'm quite lonely, so you'll do. Is that too harsh? It probably is. I've been thinking about it, and maybe I should be nicer. But won't I appear weak? Father always says strength above all. If you don't have the will to see it through, you will never have what you desire. Oh, who am I kidding? I'm too good for anyone. No one needs to worry about a thing when I'm around. I plan to take that into my hero career, so confidence is the only thing I've got. How long have you been there? You couldn't have been there that long, correct? Since the beginning. I see. Well, since you're my underling, you can appreciate that I wanted to do that for you. It's my way of telling you you're inferior and fine, I may have made a mistake. I'm not so proud that I couldn't see when I'm wrong, and perhaps I was wrong to make it a competition. And even worse, I played into Hitoshi's plan. I'm far too good for this, but perhaps even I make mistakes. Now, instead of treating you like a doormat or a pet, maybe I should treat you like a true underling. Come on, we're going to have a fun day on the town. I'm stifled in here. I need my creativity, my training, to have purpose. And it's meaningless if there's no one to appreciate it. Ah, yes. That's where you come in. Then, once you appreciate me, well, we'll be one step closer together. One step closer to understanding each other. And of course, you know, I very much care what you think of me. Despite what I said before, you may seem somewhat a follower at times, but I guess you have redeeming qualities. There. Are you happy now, peasant? I praised you properly, and this was one of the things that was bothering me. I may have been raised as a noble among nobles, but what's the point if I don't have someone to admire me, and someone whom I can admire? That's where you come in. You're not just a tool to me. You may be a peasant, but you're an exemplary one. And with that, I think today will be a good testing ground for you to understand what it means to be my servant. No, not like that. My companion, whom I'm trying to teach and mentor, and I don't know how to say it. What do you mean I do? That's not what I'm trying to say. Obviously, it's more that I... Never mind, I'll tell you later if I feel like it. Who is a peasant to question me? Never mind. What's it like being a peasant? A commoner? I've always wondered that. You know, I envy you in some ways. Not having to deal with all the pressure of royalty. So many things that you may take for granted about freedom is not done for people of the utmost caliber. Or at least not in the same way. Many times it gets lost in translation, a silliness that doesn't equate. There is quite a lot of dissidence, variance between the higher caste. Money does not mean happiness. Money means responsibility. And that's why my father was the CEO of one of the largest companies in the world. Is quite prevalent, quite important, but also quite miserable. I do not want to be my father, no. I've witnessed him toss away love in his family more than once. And that's where I learned many of my habits, outlooks of the world. But I am not him. I never will be. Because I don't want to repeat the past. So many people compare me to him. So many people want to see me become just like him. He didn't want me to become a hero. He didn't even think I would make it into the course at all. But no. He underestimated me. All because he saw dollar signs in numbers. He saw me as his own servant. His protege, but as... It's so much worse than that. And while you don't understand it, you couldn't understand it, it's difficult, as well as sad. Why am I even telling this to you, a peasant? We'll never have to deal with this. And besides, even if you did, you'd probably be better off than him. I want to save him, but how do you save someone from something that's looked up upon by your peers? How do you take down a paragon so that they have a life of their own? The only way I've ever seen to make friends is to show them how amazing I am. To look down upon them instead of doubting my own lack of experience. I've been put in my place recently. I visited my father the other day, and it was a terrible meeting. I didn't want to hear half the things he had to say, because when you care about someone, when they change from when you're young to old, it wounds you. Of course, why am I even mentioning it? Because I don't want you to think. My harsh words and pride are done in a malicious manner. I sincerely mean the best. When I call you a peasant, it's just how I was taught to call people who are of the commoners. But to be fair, I've assumed much of you, and I took advantage of that. And for that, I have to apologize. Though it may not be something I can change. My pride is something that skews words, and people misunderstand it and think that I'm... Well, I guess I am overly proud. But isn't that what makes me me? Isn't that what you saw in me? Unfaltering courage and intense self-belief. That's my best quality. Ah, thank you. I feel like talking to you has revealed what I truly needed to focus on within my own shortcomings and predisposal towards the rather embarrassing case of underestimating everyone. It's led me down the path of defeat, but I don't want it to lead me down the path of loneliness. Now, as eloquently as I can, I will ask you to accept this compensation for my mistake. Today will be a special day. You won't be my servant, you won't even be a plebeian. You'll be a noble in my company, and I'll try and treat you as I would any other of my equals. This is a special occasion. Don't get the wrong idea here. I am still far superior to you, but perhaps just now I saw a glimpse that even a commoner might have a noble's heart. Perhaps someday we can make you into a noble. I'm sure you would enjoy it more than the commoner life. Then again, maybe you can show me how to be a proper commoner. I might need to put on a disguise or something, but I would like to enjoy simple things and not always have strings attached. Do you think I'm a good person? I ask myself sometimes, from what Hitoshi said, to how I reflected on things. Being serious about things all the time, it wears you down. That's why I usually view life as just a game that I'm a winner in, but recently I'm not so sure. I'm confident I'm better than most, but does that really make me better than them? Does it really give me the authority that a noble should have over commoners? It's difficult, very much so, to try and put it into words. I suppose I would just simply say, I doubt myself for the first time in maybe forever. Now, that's not to say that I would lose to some plebeian like the others. The fake heroes can't take me down no matter what they do. I'll use their powers against them, and my wit too. But I'm more concerned with a more personal issue that's been rising in my heart. Do you wish to actually be around me, or do you feel like it's the only way you could ever be close to me? Or maybe there's some other reason. Speak. I will listen. Ah, so you do admire me. I appreciate that. Your honesty. Many wouldn't be so honest with someone as prideful as myself. It kind of defeats the purpose of it. So I need to ask you for purposes of my own selfish doubt. Do you really enjoy being around me? Or am I some kind of bright flame burning just for a moment? Like a firework, destined to fizzle out. Will your fire for me fizzle out too? I wonder. And yet I don't have the answer. Not even close. I have Nothing to go on. When I look into your eyes, I see an admirer. But I ask myself, now in my dreams, what is it I'm so proud of, if I'm not even proud of my family name? I guess I'm proud of their accomplishments. I feel alienated. Just because they've been successful in what they do doesn't mean that they're happy. It doesn't make you happy to be successful, no. That's just the beginning of it. Being good at something may be happiness, but not for everyone. Not even for... Never mind. I will not burden you with so much when we've barely started our day, perhaps after we've gotten some tea. I want to take you to my penthouse, after the day's done, to show you where my pride came from, or where I suppose it did. And that's fine. You can view me as you want. This is just me, reaching out, trying to touch that distance in which I've made. A distance in which I've made with everyone. I've never been good at avoiding it. In fact, it's been almost a constant in my life. Perhaps I've been spoiled. Maybe just a bit too much. Though I guess spoiled is a double-edged sword. Everyone always wants to point at the rich kid. At the one who's got it so well. But what they don't admire and envy is having no sense of self, that worth is determined by dollar signs. And to be quite honest with you, it's not a very good feeling. The pressure to be just as good, no better. Nothing but the best. And I'm sick of it. If I want to be the best, it's because I am. That's exactly why I do what I do. I've been shunned away from anything that wouldn't make me massive amounts of money. And because I really felt strongly about what heroes do, their freedom, their ability to change the world without having to be behind a desk all day. I don't want to be a confined beast, perpetually working as a labor of hatred and a labor of making more dollar signs. I don't care about dollar signs. I never have, and I never will. But that's just it. Sometimes I feel I'm the only one. But you've shown me a little bit more. Maybe money matters to you. Maybe you wish you had more. But the important part is you don't go asking for freebies. You don't go asking for other people to pity you. You make your own way. And that's what inspired me. What made me want to be around you. Or at least at first, I may have gotten carried away, but I didn't want to share you. There's a lot of other fellows in this school that might charm you, and I can't take any chances like that. Is it wrong of me to want you so much? You know, even before you came to me, despite my harsh words, I quite like who you are. Common or noble, it doesn't matter. I still have a long ways to go myself. With stopping my ego, my infatuation with myself. I always get reminded by one such classmate is probably my best friend. You probably know her as Kendo. And I suppose that's fine. Friendship is a strange term because she doesn't see me for my glory. but she also puts me in my place when I do too much. So I guess it balances out. It is a good relationship. Romantic? No, of course not. I don't feel that way about her at all. She is merely a friend, and it will remain that way. Because I have someone who needs me more. And my pride might be what defines me, but it's my elegance and poise that makes me memorable. Unlike Shoto or the others, I've got both brains and brawn. And this attitude of mine, I've realized I need it. There's no way I could handle life if I wasn't the best. So I have no choice but to be the best. And with your quirk at my side, and your sobering personality, I could be helped to be more of a human being and less of a nobles only. I have spent my life trying to prove people wrong about me. I've spent my life being someone that I wanted to be, not what everyone expected of me, and I'm not going to stop now, not for you or anyone. And for that I won't apologize. No, I'll give you what you came for, the me that you fell in love with. If you do feel that way truly, then I will find ways to show you, and find things that I can palatably reason to say would define me. I will be there for you, whether you are there for me. It is something of an honor of myself. I consider those around me to be quite important to me, despite what my my surface self would have you believe. It's quite a tangent of sorts that gets mixed up in the wording, and there are times when I want to see more of my humanity, and less of my facade, less of what I've been taught and more of what I've learned. There's so much that I don't know how to put into words unless I retort back to that facade. Though it is me, it is not all of me, to say the least. Now, peasant, why don't we go and enjoy something of a treat? I've reserved out the restaurant at circa 9. You've heard of it? Good. Then you shouldn't have a problem with attending it. But what are those clothes? Surely there must be something that I can persuade you to wear instead. Formalities simply must not be your forte. Why, yes, of course. I have connections all over the city. No one would dare turn me down, nor anyone near me. In fact, you should count yourself a blessing that you're in my company. You can get things that others wouldn't dream of. Do you feel lucky yet? Fortunate? Are you glad to be my little peasant? Now, let's get you out of those old rags and into something more fashionable. I think you'll enjoy it. Otherwise, well, maybe it's endearing having you in that. Such a lovely outfit. It does suit you. Feels like home. Ah, you're such a good little peasant, aren't you? And that's fine by me. I don't mind. When would I have time for that? Now, as they say so incessantly that I cannot possibly forget it, time is money, so let's be off. Did I ever tell you that you inspire me? I hope I did. It would be such a shame to waste such inspirational words and encouragement. I've learned one thing: it's better to use honey rather than garbage to attract. Well, never mind. I wouldn't want to overwhelm a peasant like you. No, it's not quite that. It's just. Yes, I know. My public appearance is not the best. I get carried away thinking I'm better than everyone sometimes, but it's only because if I don't, I'll lose heart. I won't be able to take it. And what if Father knew? I shan't even think of it. Instead, I will spend my efforts in making today the best it can be. Sound good to you? Good. Same here. Now, the first fashion spot I want to take you is nestled away back here, and it's just a bit above the rest. You can get things for a measly price of, tens of thousands of dollars, but we'll just worry about that later. Money isn't everything after all, but it might seem that way to a peasant like you. I might have to educate you. See, there's some bargains you can get here. For just $5,000, we might be able to get you a nice little shoe. One single shoe, but it would be your prized possession. Your prized shoe. You're right. I've gotten carried away. I've gotten lost in my facade again, but being real with you, I want you to get something you like. It doesn't have to be that formal. Enough that it classifies through the restaurant. That's the goal of it, at least. So I would prefer you get something that brings out your gorgeous looks. It's not my place to say, but you are quite special to me, and I want you to have the choice of my equal. Even if you're a peasant, you could appreciate that much, couldn't you? I trust you. So, go ahead. Get whatever you see fit. I'll wait for you here. As for the rest of it, don't worry. Once we get you your outfit, we'll have a great evening at one of the finest restaurants I've ever had the pleasure of dining. Don't worry, there shouldn't be anyone who will bother us. No one is that classy, nor abhorrent. Now, run along. I'll be getting some extra clothing to suit the occasion as well. Trust me, it'll make your heart flutter and your stomach turn. Wait, that's not how the phrase goes. Even perfection makes mistakes. It was nothing. Nothing at all. Carry on, peasant. I will be patient this time. I expect you to get your results within whatever period of time. Just meet back here. So I see you've returned, and in quite the outfit. I'm almost impressed. You did pretty well for a peasant. I guess I could give you some praise. You deserve that much. But I wonder, what is it that you like more? Some praise or more of the same? That same snide attitude seems to get your heart racing. Am I wrong? Well, it doesn't matter. I'll continue being me. And of course, you continue being you. Now don't mind being a plebeian or a peasant. Peasants can do great things, and without them everything collapses. Besides, today you're a noble, at least in my eyes. And with a look like that, you can barely tell that you're normally a peasant. No. I guess just take it as a pet name. We'll refer to it as that for now. I don't mean anything bad by it. I'm just being myself. The self that seems to get you just a bit riled up. Now, why don't we go and enjoy the rest of our day? There's oh so much of it, and I can think of a number of ways that we could spend it, other than what we have planned. Or I guess I should say following. Whichever you prefer. And are you ready? Would you like to take my hand? Ah, perfect. I can teach you how to walk while we're at it, with elegance and pride. Not bad. You can follow me pretty good, but you don't have much substance of your own. You'll need to work on that, won't you? Well, we have until we get there. Of course, we need to walk to the limo first, so I suppose you have until then. Right this way. That was for good luck. That was because I wanted you. And that was because you're mine. Are we clear there? Your ignorance is adorable. Don't take offense, it's just you don't know the upper echelon of society. Not yet. But maybe you will. Maybe if you end up appeasing me, I could show you what it's like, the good at least. I wouldn't wish the negatives upon my worst enemy. And yet, there was a time before all that. Walk with me. This way. There was a time when my family was much happier. Back when we were still in the lower part of the upper echelon. That was a time I missed, where I actually had the ability to spend time with my father. There was so much that I wanted to do, that I did get to do. Something as simple as playing with an animal at a shelter, or experiencing what a sports game is like. I would take anything. It was just important because my father was there. My mother, she still tries to this day. And my siblings, they're relatively palatable. It's just a loss of my father. Well, I call it that. It wasn't so much a loss as it should be a celebration, and it was for everyone else. But I shouldn't be talking about this. I just miss him is all. He's still there, just too busy for someone like me. Being that I'm not the oldest, nor am I the most predominant. Let alone our arguments. Do you really think so? That's definitely better than I would expect from someone with your perspective who's seen the ugliness in my demeanor. Of course, it's for the good of others as well, but it comes off as harsh, unforgiving, and oh so pompous. And to a certain extent, I can't disagree. Calling someone a peasant puts me on a pedestal. I just believe I'm worthy of said pedestal. like a glistening star in the sky, destined to become the next sun. It's a terrible analogy, really, but the fact that you support me, it's curious. You think you'd hate me by now. I actually would have expected that. I would have been less surprised at it. My own broken heart has happened more than once. And afterwards, I don't show anyone, but it's not like I don't have times of deep sadness. Well, it's reassuring to hear you say that. I'm beginning to think much more elated about you. I appreciate you. So thank you for all you've done so far. You've done more than most, even more than some of my family. It's baffling to me, and yet I can't think of a word to describe it otherwise. It's endearing, as well as meaningful. So thank you. Thank you for being exemplary. Now, as we approach the limo, just leave things to me. Chop chop. Go ahead and get in first. We'll be going alone, of course. And now, the driver should be well informed of where we're going and what time it needs to be. We shouldn't be late. It's only happened a few times, in which case, unfortunately, the plebeian of a driver will have to suffer a little. Suffer the loss of a job, or at least a small penalty. I can be benevolent, even to those under me. I'm no CEO, but I might understand just a bit of what it takes to be one. If I ever make it to such a lofty goal, I think I'd lose my mind, personally. There's too much too much on my shoulders already. Too much more, and I'm afraid there's only so much before you start breaking. Now, on a much lighter note, we are here. Watch your step. I wouldn't dream of letting you fall, not while we're on a date. Well, yes, it's a date. The peasant master relationship has nothing to do with this. It's completely independent, and merely me realizing maybe I was too harsh. That's it. There's a lot that I still have to learn. Admittedly, perfection is such a difficult place in this world. Being the best at everything also means the most pressure, also means the most difficulty finding my freedom. But you've helped me. Through your own lack of perfection, I've managed to see that I have a long ways to go. Perhaps I should say we have a long ways to go. Let's go. Of course. I'll lead the way. Do you like the aesthetic? I think this place is very trendy when it comes to things such as the architecture, the smells in the air, the people you'll find, and the places you can go. Sort of like a mall for the overly eminent. As for its food, well, if you've never been here, you've surely heard of it. The food of the gods, after all. It is the absolute utmost. I go here to show off sometimes, but this is much more important to me. That you are at my side. Have you ever wondered why I treat others so harshly? Why, it's my pride in myself. But you should know, after all that pride, There is quite a lot of love, and even more, attentiveness. I am nothing if not extraordinarily dedicated. I work possibly harder than anyone else. I have to not only use my quirk, but learn the quirks of every other person that exists that could potentially be used by me. If I don't want to die, that is. You may not know this since it's not really your place to, but if I were to haphazardly use someone else's power without knowing, how would I control it? One wrong move and I'd be a very noble fireball, maybe in pieces, maybe in a different dimension. All of these are just casual consequence of not knowing. Of course, there's more, none of which good. At best, I'd be maimed, at worst, I'd be gone. And of course, that takes a lot of my time. A lot from the freedom that I hope to have once I'm a full-fledged hero. Of course, I'm just interning now, but I figure it's better. The concept of it, anyways. In any case, I believe I've explained something very personal to myself. Would you mind indulging me? A secret, you say? And what's that? Ah, interesting. I'm honored to have heard it from you. For a lot of my life, people didn't trust me. They didn't believe in me. They didn't see anything. And to see you, someone who I've possibly wronged a bit, giving me so much trust, it's humbling. Thank you. Now, it looks like we're here. Once the elevator doors open, we're at our destination. Don't worry. There's far more spectacles once those doors open. After you, my dear. Do you like it? The highest-end restaurant in the entirety of the known world, with dishes so exotic, new chefs every day, a paragon of culinary delight, just for your delectable taste buds to enjoy. Now come on, we need to go to our table. Oh, you can just pick one, it doesn't matter which. Oh, you're curious about reservations? Of course I reserved the entire restaurant. I mentioned it earlier, don't you remember? It's just a favor from an old friend. I decided to call it. Well, you don't want to know the dollar signs on how much it would cost, but that doesn't matter. I'm doing this out of the goodness of my heart. You should appreciate that much, correct? Now, enough about droll and drab things like that. Let's instead spend our focus on something far more enticing, like an appetizer. You can choose the menu or just get the entire thing. Get a smorgasbord prepared for you that would make a king water in his mouth. What do you think? Is it everything you hoped it was? Instead, you can praise me if you want, but I'd be just as happy with a smile. I'm often underestimated, you know. A lot of people see me as nothing more than a man full of himself. No, not even that. A little boy in his own delusion. And yet, despite my age and maturity, there is nothing that will stop me from my goals. and you've helped me realize a few things. My good points and bad points are all mopped up into the same thing, so elegantly wrapped into a beautiful package, as you no doubt can feel. I am, if nothing else, a man of many talents, a jack of all trades, and so on. Now, I think ordering the entire menu is in order. Never know when you'll get a tooth for something else. Come on. Why don't you have the honor of saying it? We'll both have the same thing. Everything. He is the waiter. Why don't you go ahead, my dear? Bravo. At least you had the class at that moment. Color me impressed. A fine peasant indeed. Though it's almost unbefitting to call someone with your royal looks a peasant. Perhaps I've misjudged you. Perhaps my degrading was only because I didn't think you had what it took to deal with me. And all those things that I can't trust others with. It's empty space to most, and so many people just, they don't understand it. They don't understand me. They don't even give me a chance. My pompous attitude may be the blame, but it's only half the blame. I can be a reliable teammate. Kendo knows firsthand. Of course, there's some turbulence between us now. Nothing too harsh, just not entirely sure what to make of her. But it's rude of me. Please pardon me. I didn't mean to talk about others in your presence. Instead, why don't I pick that brain of yours and get to know who's behind it? So, what is it that brought you to UA? Is it that simple? You just wanted to? Well, to end up in 1A, that's quite the feat for someone just doing things that they want to do. Isn't there something more to it? That closes up the story quite well, giving some answers to what I was asking. You've already heard my story. But do you perhaps envy me? So a mixed feeling. You understand now it's not all rainbows and butterflies. There is a positive and negative to many things. I think you understand that just fine, judging by your questions and answers. Now it's just a question of, well, watch out. Here comes the waiters. Here we are. Look at this veritable feast of what I assume to be our appetizers. From shellfish to surf and turf, all eloquently packed into bite-sized bits. That's why I've always enjoyed appetizer almost more than the meal itself. No heavy feelings, no weighing down. It's very free. Like flying. I've always envied some that get to fly. Though I've wondered why. I've only ever come to the conclusion that it's just befitting of me. Wouldn't you say? I think I could pull off a great bird. Though not as much as your classmate, of course. No. I mean no harm. If anyone's less insufferable than the rest, it would be you and him. Fumekage, isn't it? Now, enough of talking about others. My distraction is my nervousness. Let us eat. Delicious. Ah, your posture. Make sure you keep your back straight. And of course, in terms of using the right silverware, I've never really paid too much heed to it, so if you don't care, I'll look the other way. While your cadence is enough to enthrall me more. What a proper balance of noble and peasant. I wish you were more of what I see in high society. But I guess there's no need to wish if such a wonderful thing is right in front of me. Ah, the kissing of the back of the hand. It's a tradition. Something I thought would make you swoon for me. Why don't you tell me how I'm doing? No. Let's leave it as a surprise once we're back in my suite. Ill intent? I think not. I have only the most lofty goals and aspirations for us. And dinner is served. A lovely meal with a lovely, lovely company. I simply can't get enough. The beautiful view outside, it just can't compare to you. And despite my best efforts at copying the most utmost of quirks, I can't seem to get yours. It must be too divine. Is my change of demeanor disrupting you? I can be quite a gentleman. It's just in such a place as UA with ruffians and scourge, there's very few that I can find such earnesty. Most have ill intent, double meanings, and lots of leering eyes. People that want without ever giving back. You're different than them. So different that I felt so inspired. Once I tested you, you admittedly did something that I shouldn't have made you do. And I could only maintain what I had before to manage to save my pride outweighed a lot of things. Thanks to Hitoshi, I've seen many of the error of my ways. And I've since come to appreciate what's in front of me. A wonderful person with far more than what a peasant would have. And yet I playfully call you that. Tell me, does it bother you that you're just a peasant to me? It never gets old. But you should know I don't mean you're below me. I mean, I'm better in certain rights, but you're better in certain rights too. So we balance each other out so divinely that it works like a scale of the gods. Look, as we speak, something nearly as sweet as you comes. What a beautiful tray of desserts. What do you think you'll choose? Why not all of them? Then, of course, be my guest. I'm always a glutton for something delectably sweet, subtle, or bold. And trust me, my dear companion, you are quite bold. I'll give you that. and a lot more. After a single bite, I feel I've reached the pinnacle of perfection, at least in culinary delight. And with that, we can head back and enjoy our night. Of course, once you're finished, I don't mind waiting. I would wait the entire night away, if it meant more time spent proper with you. There's far too many hours spent to freedom, but while I expected this to be far less fun, opening up to you has led me to feel more alive than I have in a long time. Perhaps I owe you even more than I did at the start of the day. How ironic my reparation for my misdeeds is to be done as such that I owe you more after my attempt. I feel as though you're extorting me. So I must demand something. You must accompany me back to my suite. It is the penthouse that I commute from, and it's at the top of this building. I sincerely hope you don't mind. I've put everything into it. It's my training hall as much as it is my beautiful little residence. To see everything I want to visit, from the legendary food stall vendors to the ramen shops that I could never go in or be ridiculed if anyone saw me, would be in the news. I'm not that famous, of course not. But if it did happen, there would be hell to pay. And it was the risk that always made me act professional. And within that box was my professional abilities. High society does not usually mix with low. But you've been my way of understanding those who don't have the burden of money, the burden of wealth that took things away that can never be bought. I long for a day that I'd no longer have to worry about dollar signs, and a day like today, when I can see you for you and appreciate spending as much as I can for something actually meaningful, for something within my freedom and outside of the box, for something that I want to show you from the bottom of my heart. A thank you. A true thank you. Looks like you're finished. I'm honored. Did you enjoy the meal? Will it be in your memories? It was my goal that you remember tonight in a pleasant light, to overthrow those bad memories of what I might have caused. My cruelty was taken too far. I abused my pride and I used it wrongly. And I wish to make it up to you in many ways. That is why I'll take you to my sanctuary. So please take my hand, and we can enjoy the night as it was meant to be. No less than the best. Here we are. My humble abode. As you can see, as far as penthouses go, it's quite quaint, though it does have some very nice commodities within. Though we shouldn't have to worry about anyone interfering with us, as I have very tight security. I wouldn't want anyone in here because it's dangerous to me, so you should know how much I trust you. It has all of my information and studies, so many things that could be taken and used against me, though I suppose my relationship with you could be taken and used against me more than all of it combined. You are my secret, but I don't want you to be. I have a proposition to make. Would you take an engagement with me? Would you accompany me for life? Before you say yes or no, I need to explain. This is to face off against my father, as much as it is because I've fallen for you. Even if we never married, I would use this as a way to bring you into my world, or perhaps to go to yours. A bridge between a distance I thought I never could find a true relation, let alone a relationship. I realize how abrupt, and I'm practically shaking from my own nervousness of if you said no. It's okay. I shouldn't word it that way. I am serious about you, and I need to make it clear, so that no one, not Hitoshi or anyone else, can take you away. You mean so very much to me, and I don't know how else to prove it, except this. I need to apologize to you. It was not very gentlemanly of me. I proposed and then kissed you out of the blue. I owe you much, much more now that I am sorry. You kissing me? What does a peasant like you think that they can... Who gives a damn about status? Feeling your lips against me, it invigorates my soul. My wandering heart finds a home at last. To feel your lips against mine is worth more than all the money in the world. In truth, I've so little that I've never really kissed anyone before you that's new and exciting, despite the previous endeavor. To think what a peasant, noble, or anything else, I can say you're amazing. Amazing beautiful. Perfectly imperfect. Your skin is so sweet, and your scent is on my tongue like 1,000 flowers. Lower and lower. I want you to feel both the ferocity and the truth of my love firsthand in what might be rather explosive. To think you had a cute midsection as well. Don't try and hide it now. That would make my efforts in vain. And that would be a crying shame to not hear your voice escaping through your nervousness. Or do my kisses just feel that good? And here we are at the cusp of your most weak and frail spot. But I don't blame you for having weakness, no. I blame you for enticing me so very much. And now I need to punish you and make you forget about any other touch, any other kiss, and charm your body until all you can even dream about is me, Neito Monoma. Kissing you here feels naughty as much as it does satisfying. I'm afraid your meager defenses cannot hold back the roaring beast in my soul called desire. Your flavor, so sweet. Judging by your responsive, I think I should do more, not less. But look at me, being so rude, talking with my mouth full. Surely you can't blame me when such a person as you has flipped the tables and worked the charms on me. I can only do this much. The feeling of you, feeling because of me, is something I want to see and feel and hear and touch so much more. I seek romance in the most true way, a way that I can't get away from you. And now I'm afraid you've left me with no choice. But because of your acceptance of my proposal, I need to consummate the occasion. And what of it? If it's a little early, then I'll just make our wedding day that much more of an infernal passion. My raw love and lust for you cannot wait. Are you all right, love? What a glistening diamond in the rough you are. I will show you what a man of my caliber can do. Feeling your body. There is no words that can do it justice. Do you feel my carnal lust mounting? I feel your everything, every twitch, every touch. You are noble in my heart. Even if you're a peasant beneath me now, you're my peasant, aren't you? Yes, yes, you are. Hold on tight, my love. That is a promise made by flesh, consummation of the beginning of our love. I must make you remember me. I must separate all the bad and give you my everything. Brace yourself, love. I will not hold back out of respect for you. You have truly surprised me. On so many levels, I underestimated you. But no longer. I wouldn't dream of it. No. I wouldn't dream of squandering such a lovely and irreplaceable gem in my life. You have given me much more than anyone else, including my family. And for that, I want to give you the world on a silver platter and use my power not only to be a hero to the world, but instead save you and save myself from the slippery slope of giving up on my dreams, from letting my father getting to me, or anything of the sort. I instead want to give you my absolution, my dedication, my love. My everything is yours. I've always wanted to say that, to have someone to give my absolute all. And now, I'm proud to say you're worth everything. And I will make up 1,000-fold the wrongs I've done to you, and make you happier than anyone else on this earth. Or I could not dare call myself a Monoma. That's a solemn swear, because I wouldn't make a promise I can't keep. I have nothing, if not my word to you, my integrity. My promise to you is as with my life. I will be your knight in shining armor that will save you if ever the day comes that we face true evil. I want you at my side, and I will live, and if I need to, die for you, my love. But I would never let it come to that. After all, you're my peasant. Though I guess I'll need to find a new name for you. But perhaps my spouse as a start.